Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here from QBKing77.com, and it's finally time to review the Samsung Galaxy S6. Samsung actually went with a brand new design to this device and even a new update to their Touchwiz overlay on Android. So anyways, I've gotten a lot of hands-on with it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Alright, so here's a much closer look at the Galaxy S6. First, I want to talk about design and some specs. So let's take a look at the sides. First of all, on the left side here, you'll notice some volume rockers. Now, in my personal opinion, they're a little high up just because when I hold it comfortably, I kind of have to adjust my hand to press that volume up button. Just a personal opinion there, but let's go ahead and take a closer look now. They have decided to use metal sides. Now it's a much sleeker look than the previous plastic that they did use. And taking a look at these volume buttons, they are great. They're very premium. They're very clicky, and you can definitely tell when you press them because, and they're also kind of hard to press in a sense of that you have to press a little firm, which means you aren't going to accidentally press them. Now going ahead and going to the top of the device, here's the top. You'll notice the camera does protrude out just a little bit. Some people don't like that. I mean, I personally don't really like that a lot, but let's go ahead and look at the top. You have an IR blaster, which allows you to control televisions, etc. Going over to the right side of the device, you have a power button and then a SIM card slot. Absolutely no micro SD card slot. You have 3264 128 gigabyte options for storage, which some people like, some people don't. I'm personally okay with it. I have the 32 gigabyte model and I'm just fine. Now the power button's about the exact same as the volume buttons, very premium feel to it. Now let's go ahead and go to the bottom here. Looks very similar, doesn't it? Yes, as many people have said, it looks like an iPhone, and it does. I mean, just going to throw that out there. You got a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, which is very high quality sound. Micro USB charging slot. You have a little microphone there, and you have a speaker right here. The speaker, mono speaker, one directional, of course. Pretty solid sound quality. It gets a little tinny, but it does get very loud. Let's go ahead and test it real quick. Okay, that was just a very quick test. Lots of different music styles, etc. that you can test on your own. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at the back. All glass back. Now that glass is actually Gorilla Glass 4, so it is pretty sturdy. Feels a little bit fragile just because you feel it and you're like, oh my gosh, it's glass. But I've dropped it once on accident and absolutely no damage to it, luckily. On the back here, you have a 16 megapixel camera, which I'll talk about in depth in just a second. You also have a flash right there and a fingerprint heartbeat sensor. All right, now let's go ahead and flip the device over, and on the front here, down at the bottom, you have a home button. This is the least premium button out of the 4 buttons on the device, but it's not premium. I'm just going to say that. It wiggles just a tiny bit, but not very good. Wow, you'll see I was moving my finger around and it unlocked the device because there's a fingerprint scanner built in, and it's amazing. You'll see I'm just going to go ahead and hold my finger on there, and it works really well. You also notice you do have capacitive buttons, the recent running apps button down there, and the back button as well. Some people like on-screen buttons, some people like capacitive buttons. It's just a personal preference. And then up at the top, you have a 5 megapixel camera and some sensors and an earpiece, which sound quality has been very good. Absolutely no complaints to that. So overall, you have a very flat design. It's very thin, which I believe is partly because they use a smaller battery, 2,550 milliamp hours in the S6. So they went with a more thin design. I honestly would have preferred it to be a little thicker, maybe a little thicker to get rid of this gap that the camera protrudes out of. Anyways, for internals, it has 3 gigabytes of RAM, and they went with Samsung's own Exynos octa-core processor, actually. So they decided to sway away from Qualcomm Snapdragon 810. Some people thought it was because they had some issues, but honestly, I really like this processor that they used. All right, so that's enough about the design. Let's go ahead and turn this guy on and check out that display. So it has a 5.1-inch Super AMOLED display, 2560 by 1440, so 2K display and 577 pixels per inch. So great job on Samsung, and this is easily one of of the best displays on the market right now. So huge shout out to Samsung for this display. When it comes to screen brightness, it not only gets very dim, but it also gets very bright when you're outside. So this is all the way down dim. You'll see it's crazy dim. This is awesome to use when you're, just laying in bed with the lights off and it's not burning your retinas. So, and all the way up, it doesn't even get all the way up. It gets even brighter when you have auto brightness on and you go outside. Anyways, the colors just really pop. It's really clear. You'll see 1440p quality on YouTube. This is a 4K video test. You'll see a little wavering. That's just because of my video camera, but trust me, it's super smooth. Colors are fantastic. The AMOLED display, of course, you have true blacks. And it's just overall really great. Viewing angles outside are great. Gets super bright outside. Like I said, I can't say enough great things about it because it is the best display out there right now. All right, so let's move on to another feature on the Galaxy S6 that's one of my favorites, and that would be the camera. So there's a few ways that you can actually open the camera. On the lock screen, you can swipe from the bottom right corner, and you'll see it opens the camera very quickly. That's one thing to note, is that the camera app opens so quickly. That's really great. So you'll see I'll press the icon there, and it opens up, and there's also a shortcut where you can double tap the home button and it loads right up. So just those 3 times, did you guys see how quickly that opened up? Now, something I want to talk about real quick is if you have that double tap camera option on, it causes a slight delay in the home button pressing when you try and exit out of apps. A very slight delay, not crazy, but a real slight delay when exiting out, just because it waits for that second press to open up the camera. But anyways, let's go back into that camera app and take just a very quick picture. So focusing real quick on something close. You saw how quickly it focuses. Focus is amazing. It's very quick. I can't say enough great things about this camera app because it is one of the best cameras on the market. It competes with the iPhone 6 Plus's camera, and that's really about it. It's better than the Note 4's camera. It is arguably the best camera out on the market right now. Now, real quick, wanted to show you an example of the focusing. So you'll see I was taking a picture of my keyboard. Down here is a little blurry, but up at the top here it's very focused. So, and that's just from pointing and tapping. And then I switched real quickly down to the bottom here, and you see the bottom's very clear, and then the top is out of focus. All right, and here's a quick shot outside. Very good quality and good lighting. And of course, you'll see here's a far away shot. Just crazy good quality. I can't say, like I said, enough good things about this camera, the 16 megapixel camera. And here's actually a low light picture, believe it or not. You'll see not very grainy at all, not very much image quality lost. Now the low light pictures are really good. You'll see here that it does a very good job at taking in what light is available and throwing it into the image and taking a very high quality picture. All right, and then within the camera app, you have a bunch of options that you expect with Samsung: effects, HDR, timers, flash. You have modes. A nice mode is Pro mode, where you can change the ISO. You'll see a bunch of different manual controls that you can do on your own. But anyways, that's really enough about the camera in my opinion. Like I said, one of the best out there right now. All right, so let's talk about something so many of you have been asking me about, and that's battery life. So now going into battery life, you have a couple options. You have power saving mode, which will help you save battery, dimming the screen, changing the CPU performance, turning off the vibration motor. You have ultra power saving mode, which puts it in a very simple mode. It's grayscale. You got the calculator, very simple apps, etc. However, when you're just using it normally, in my opinion, it's just average, honestly. Yes, it does have a 2K screen, but it's still average. I get about 3 hours and 20 minutes screen on time average, which really isn't that good for a flagship device. It's actually a little bit worse than the S5 in my opinion. However, it does have fast charge capabilities, which are great. It honestly charged my device from 0 to full in a little bit over an hour. And then of course you have wireless charging as well, which is a nice added touch. It doesn't charge nearly as fast as the fast charge, but it's still a pretty cool feature. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about software and performance. Now, like I said, Samsung has their own overlay on Android called Touchwiz. So going to About Device, you'll see it's on Android version 5.0.2, which is Lollipop. It's not the latest. 5.1 is actually the latest, so hopefully Samsung updates it very soon. Anyways, when it comes to Touchwiz, there's things I like and things I don't like about it. So you'll see here's the home launcher. You can pinch in and you have options for wallpapers, widgets, themes, and screen grid. I'll get to themes in just a second. You also have a page over here called Flipboard Briefing, which I disabled for a good reason. It's very slow. It's really not that good. Blink Feed on HTC does a better job at what Flipboard's trying to do, so I just disabled it myself. A nice feature though about this launcher is you can change the screen grid. So pretty cool. You can have 5x5, 4x5, and 4x4. I think that's a nice nice added touch to customization that's very useful, actually. So going to the app drawer, you have a scrollable grid. It's not continuous scrolling though, which is kind of a pain. If you have a lot of pages, you have to swipe over really fast to go all the way. And just the sorting is awful within this, because what happens is you'll see you can have folders, which is fine. And then if you have it alphabetically sorted and then you install a new app, the new app doesn't get thrown in and alphabetically sorted. It gets thrown at the end here. So you'll see these apps are not in alphabetical order. The ones before it are, however, these last ones are not in alphabetical order, and you have to go in and manually sort alphabetically every time, and it's really goofy, and I'm just not a fan of it. Now, a great thing about Android is you can install third-party launchers, so that's kind of something I would kind of recommend you do. Anyways, volume rockers. Samsung brought back silent mode, where you can just go with volume rockers and then you can go down one more and it's silent. You can press settings here, you can change media, notifications, and system volume. All right, swiping down from the top here brings some quick panel toggles. Now it's a little bit different than Lollipop, because usually you have to swipe down twice to get to these quick panel toggles, and I'm actually not opposed to having them on the first page like so, and then scrollable from left to right, just because they don't take up too much space. However, this S Finder Quick Connect, I wish you could get rid of it. You can't, so it just takes up some extra space. So I mean, overall you can hit edit and you'll see you have a bunch right here, a nice flashlight up there now, so you don't have to have a widget. So overall, those are all of them that you can customize. And then of course you have this area down here for your notifications. Going into settings now, settings menu is better. It's definitely much better, finally. It used to be so long, you had to scroll through so many things to find what you wanted. This is more manageable. You have quick settings up here, which you can edit. So if there's certain things that you go into settings a lot for, you can edit those quick settings. They did a good job at categorizing them into connections, device, personal, and system. That's it. So you'll see a very short scrollable menu, and it's definitely updated and a lot better. Something I forgot to mention about the launcher, it's kind of goofy. Hopefully I can show it on video, is that you'll see the wallpaper actually moves to kind of give a 3D effect when you kind of rotate the device. But honestly, some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a big fan of it, but you can't turn it off on the stock launcher, so another reason you might want to install a third-party launcher. Anyways, going back into settings, I want to talk about themes. So the theme manager is something that is very promising. There's not too many themes right now. Hopefully they have more and more, and they need to put more and more if they want it to be popular. If you want to switch to a theme, here's an Avengers theme. I'm going to apply that. Hit apply. You'll see the amount of time it takes. It's not too long, and it changes a lot. It changes the ringtone, the wallpaper. You have app icons changing. So you'll see even third-party app icons have a little bit of a change to them. They have circles around them, whereas the stock app icons actually kind of change their icon as well. So overall, and it changes the system UI. So you'll see the colors up here are changing. If I go into settings, you'll see the background's different. It's just a darker theme to it, and you'll see the colors are different. Just overall, a really great feature, and it themes some of the stock apps as well. Check out that dialer as well. So really cool. Honestly, Samsung did a great job at theme manager. They just need to put more themes into it. All right, so I switched back to the stock theme, but anyways, something new that I wanted to talk about is the nice pop-up option that comes up with the stock text messaging app. So I sent myself a quick text, and you'll see this comes up, and if you hit reply within it, it shows a quick text message, and that happens when you're in apps, anything like that, and I think that's really cool to have within the stock application. Now, killing two birds with one stone, a brand new updated keyboard, which looks, in my opinion, similar to the keyboard on the iPhone. So, but it works pretty well. I actually have been using it and have no reason to switch. So if I say, it has swipe, obviously it has a dedicated number row, which is a huge thing. Good job, Samsung. I know the HTC stock keyboard doesn't have that. But overall, I've been doing pretty well on this keyboard. I have no reason to change, and it's overall really good. Now when it comes to performance, the S6 is very good. I will get occasional lag here and there, but I believe it's Touchwiz related. Occasionally if you're in a game and you have a lot of notifications in your panel, it can get a little jittery and slow. It's nothing crazy, and it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of it has to do with the amount of notifications in this panel, but you see just a little jittery there while I'm in a game, but if I exit out of the game, it's pretty smooth. Samsung uses UFS 2.0 storage for faster read-write speeds, and it's really quick. When you load up apps, loading times are less, and it's overall a very speedy phone. Now Samsung has tried to de-bloat Touchwiz in a sense of changing some of those gimmicky features such as air view, stuff like that. You'll see here you have motions and gestures. You only have 4: direct call, smart alert, mute, and palm swipe to capture as well. So only 4 of those. So very simple there when it comes to that. But still, they need to keep it updated. They need to slim it down even more because it will cause a little bit of lag here and there. You'll see when I press the recent apps, it's not as responsive as it should be. Occasionally when I press it, it takes a little bit of time to load up those apps. That time it was fine, but I mean overall, I mean multitasking has been good. Very solid, it's quick, but you'll see that took a little bit too long, and it takes a little bit longer if I haven't pressed it in a while. So, but I mean overall it's quick most of the time, of course. So most of the time it's quick going into these things, and overall just a pretty solid experience, just with that occasional lag, I believe attributed to Touchwiz. You also have some Bloat apps. You'll see I have a folder here. It includes a few Microsoft apps. You'll see these are other apps that you cannot uninstall, unfortunately. So there you see S-Health, S-Voice, which are Samsung apps. S-Health comes with, of course, the heartbeat sensor on the back. It works pretty well as long as it's in a quiet area and you stay very still. But overall, S-Health has a lot of different options: running, amount of water you drink. You can sync it with your Nike Plus running. There's a bunch of other ones you'll see: cycling, sports, food, caffeine, sleep, stress. There's so many different options. It's a really neat app for those of you that care about this stuff, but I wish it was uninstallable for those if there's certain people that don't care about it. Alright, now I just want to give some final thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy S6. It's definitely a big step in the right direction for Samsung. They have a couple hurdles they need to get over. First of all, Touchwiz needs to be a lot more optimized for the hardware, and also battery life. Honestly, battery life needs to be better on a flagship device. However, if you can get over those 2 hurdles, it has one of the best screens out in the market right now, hands down, and also it has the best camera as well. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you could give it a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Up to you. Leave a comment if you have any feedback. You can subscribe to me. A lot more videos to come. And that's about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. All links in the description of the video below. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.